There we go. All right. How are we doing, everybody, tonight? Is everybody surviving the gruesome night, the gruesome week that is the United States election? Well, that's okay. This is a no politics zone. We are safe. You will enjoy nothing but LSU and sports related content. Although you might not enjoy it because LSU got clobbered 48-11 this weekend. And to be honest, it really wasn't as close as the score really indicated. I am hitting some shares here real quick, hitting on my Twitter. I'm going to hit it, share into a few Facebook groups that I like to connect with. Why don't y'all do the same and hit share for me? But here's what I want to hear from y'all. And I'm not doing a poll because I think we're all a little too triggered by the word vote right now. So no voting on this tonight. But what do you think the problem with LSU is? I've heard a number of wild things. And to be honest, a lot of them are probably the truth. Everybody keeps on wanting to point, one thing that is the problem with this team. And, the hard, honest truth is that it's probably a lot of things wrong with this team. And, it's really, to me, it's more about, how many of those problems are going to be a long-term issue? How many of those problems are systemic? How many of those problems are a university-wide problem? One thing that I always look to for that answer is, how you doing in recruiting? How's recruiting going? Because if recruiting's a problem, it's going to last a while. It's going to last a long time. Good news for LSU. Great news. In fact, news that will help LSU win more ball games in the future than winning that one Auburn game this week. 5-star safety, number one safety in the country, who would have been starting this week for LSU had he been on the team. Sage Ryan out of Lafayette Christian, committed to LSU. I told y'all last Wednesday, y'all were saying the Bama this, Bama that, and I was like, guys, I just don't see a way he doesn't end up at LSU. I heard all that and that he had told Bama this and that, but y'all, I know kids, okay? And I know that when you have that many close relations, Kevin Falk is his uncle, okay? Yo, Trev Falk. These dudes are all over him. It is a legacy. And I understand that, for a kid like that, a lot of times the approval of men in their lives like that they've looked up to their entire life is so valuable. And, ultimately that's kind of what happened because, Coach O said, you go get him. And that's exactly what happened. So Sage Ryan commits to LSU. Also, great news, more Lafayette recruiting. Lafayette is on fire. 2021 wide receiver Jack Besh. Now, his star rating and all that good stuff ain't going to blow you away like it is Sage Ryan, okay? But let me tell you something. That kid can move, man. That is a big dude. He is, of course, wide receiver for LSU commitment. Walker Howard, son of former LSU quarterback Jamie Howard. And Walker Howard is looking every bit like a 5-star quarterback. But Jack Besh is running down the sidelines. Of course, Jack Besh was committed to Vanderbilt, but as soon as that LSU offer came in, within 3 days, decommitted. Which good for him to, make a decommitment and then, wait around and then, make his recommitment instead of just, flipping all in one. It's always more respectful, I think, when you give them some time to say thank you, coaches, I appreciate it, wait a couple days, then recruit to your new team. Business decision, we all get it, we all understand, but it is what it is. So what do y'all think is going on with this team, y'all? Is it Is it talent, coaching, a little bit of both? I mean, you think recruiting was off? Do you think COVID? I want to hear from y'all. What do you think? Because I'm going to get through a few reasons, okay? What do my comments say here? Let's see here. Oh, I'm playing my own voice on TV, y'all. I'm trying to pull up these comments here where I can read them. Esteban, what's going on, man? Esteban, one of our top fans, showing off his top fan badge. Appreciate you, Esteban. Let's see here. The emotion from that commitment was overwhelming. It absolutely was. That hug was tremendous. That is why I love recruiting and high school football. And really, to an extent, it goes into college football itself. There's just a passion involved that is much greater than... sorry, read a new comment that came in. I'm trying to keep a straight face. But the passion in students playing football for their school, the pride, all that good stuff, is just unmatched. The team seems like they have no pride. They have a I don't care attitude. Coach O and company needs to crack back down on it now. Excellent point, Esteban. And I heard a ton of people commenting that on my Twitter feed and all that good stuff throughout the game, that this team wasn't playing with heart. I talked to Coach O after the game about if he thought, because to me, I kind of agreed that, I think the defense played with outstanding hustle and played out of their minds the best football they played for a quarter and a half against Auburn. The offense didn't, all year long, the offense has been putting the ball in the end zone and scoring points except for against Auburn. And we found us in a awkward conundrum. So I talked to Coach O and I said, Coach, I'm going to let you hear my question, okay? I'm going to just play it for you.
Coach, your defense might have played some of the best football it's played all year in the first quarter early on there. Then a pair of turnovers kind of, set Auburn up with a 14-0 lead. Did you get a sense that, maybe emotions might have been a bit deflated after – a pair of scores set up like that from the offense?
Sure. I mean, they're playing well, and all of a sudden we give up 2 touchdowns on offense, and that deflated those guys a little bit. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. We got to be mentally tough not to let that happen, but I do believe that happened today.
So y'all heard it there, and let me know if that audio worked well. That's a new video thing I'm trying to do here. So I asked Coach, point blank, did you think that your team spirit was broken? He said, yeah, shouldn't be that way, but it was. So even Coach O in the post-game press conference is admitting to kind of having lost a little bit of control over the emotions of this team. I 1000% think emotion was a huge problem. Chance Babin said politics infiltrated the team. All right, okay, election day, I get it, but bro, politics free, man. My personal disdain, which I'm going to let y'all make whatever comments you want to make. Have at it. Y'all can do whatever you want. Me, as a sports media professional, I talk sports. And dudes who try to use their platform, I would argue abuse their platform to try to talk about politics because they think whatever. You know what, dude? You're a sports writer and you didn't earn your platform based off of your public knowledge. You earned it based off of how you know sports. So I'm going to leave that to the politics guys, and we're going to talk sports tonight. But I don't think politics actually infiltrated the team as much fun as that kind of stuff is to talk about on election day. You know what else is fun? What do y'all think about this awesome photo here? Okay, Spectre Sports Art, the coolest sponsor in the world, has whipped up a new painting. It's called Perfection. And guess what? You could win it without paying for it. There's a contest. All you have to do is enter your email. There's like 4 or 5 ways to win. Okay. And it's pretty simple, straightforward. Things like sign up your email. Okay. He's not going to hit you with a bunch of junk mail. He's just going to tell you about his cool LSU stuff he's got, you can enter for free. There's, ones like follow him on Twitter. And very easy, free ways. You can also get one just by buying a copy of this. You get a bunch of entries for that. I want to take a little second to show y'all this perfection. By the way, I helped them name it. I just want to throw that out there. I came up with the name. How awesome is that? But look, let's take a minute to revisit yester season, because this season ain't so great. But anyways, look at that. Look how, dude, I'm telling you, I see so many junky, tacky paintings around. Look at the detail. Y'all remember these moments? Burrow, he pointed to the ring finger at the championship. We know that celebration right there is the third down run at Alabama. Starting lineup, they're both wearing their championship rings. My favorite, GOAT on the towel. Yo, this is some cool stuff. Quality print job, Spectre Sports Art. But for now, don't even worry about paying for it yet. Just enter the contest. You got a chance to win it for free. How cool is that? Okay, freaking awesome. All right, so y'all go do that. If you're watching now, go sign up or just wait till after the video if you want to keep on watching, because I'm going to get to a few comments here. Let's see here. Leanne Thighs Humphreys. They are not playing like a team. Too many people comparing them to last year. This is a new team, and they have to find their way. It will happen. Well, thanks for calling me out there as I compared it to little championship team right there. But that's okay, because, Leanne, I do agree that this team was damned to be compared to the greatest team in college football history from the minute they took their first snap last year. Period. I mean, that's a consequence of being the GOATs. You're going to be compared to yourself, because that's just the nature of the beast. People compare themselves to the year before. That's how sports work. It just is. You just, okay, how are you progressing? Well, let's compare you to what we have most recently on you. That being said, I totally agree that, there is a bit of unfairness, but dude, this team is not playing very well at all. It's unreasonably bad. I do give Coach O and company every excuse in the world. You have to understand COVID has disproportionately affected this team. And, I actually get a little surprised that people are just baffled when I say that a little more than I would expect them. I kind of expect, it's kind of a reasonable statement, because you have 18 of 22 players gone and 2 play callers gone. Okay, I get teams bringing new coaching staffs. Okay, whatever. Okay, LSU basically has 2 coordinators coming in. That kind of is a new coaching staff in a lot of ways. And then when you couple that with, you lost your entire roster minus 4 players. Your backup tight end got drafted, y'all. I mean, there's a lot gone from this team. There's a lot. So, of course, this team's hit harder by COVID. But even so, I mean, this defense is historically bad. Auburn, after recovering that scoop and score from TJ Finley, scored on 5 straight drives. Not score, touchdowns, yo. You realize that's a 42-point swing in the back end of the second quarter and the beginning of the third. 42 points. This defense went from stopping them. They didn't get a single point. Other than the pick 6 that was turned off and they got the ball on like the 6 or whatever early in the game. This defense was playing lights out at the very beginning. And then you can't tell me that's an X's and O's, like Auburn made enough adjustments. No, dude. This defense didn't play with heart after that. And Coach O, I just played the video. Coach O admitted, yeah, they lost their heart after 2 basically scores from the offense. Mike Smith goes, any news? Mike, trying to think about news. I mean, there's news with Miles Brennan. He took a few throws today. From what I'm understanding, they did not go very well. That tough SOB is busting his you-know-what off to play against Bama, and good for him. He should try. COVID snatched the gel away from this team. Lamar Stevens, excellent comment. great. I think that the more people understand that COVID disproportionately hurt this team versus other teams, I think the better. Mike Smith, do you think Brian Thomas is leaning toward the gums? Ooh. Walker High wide receiver Brian Thomas, who is a good athlete, big, tall receiver. I like him a lot. The fact of the matter is, neither Bama nor LSU have a good read on that right now. He's played it very close to the vest. I don't think he really knows one way or the other. I can tell you this. LSU coaching staff got a little tired of waiting around, hearing from him. They didn't get enough strong feedback. And then Jack Besh, right up the road, about an hour and a half up the road in Lafayette, has been just tearing it up with Lafayette Christian. Everybody who watched Jack Besh play was like, yo, this dude is a baller. He's SEC caliber, and we're not talking about Vanderbilt SEC caliber where he was committed. This dude can straight up play. Big, fast. If you need to, he can play tight end as well. Let's see here. Esteban audio is great. Awesome, guys. I tried this new thing where I'm taking a video clip from our new YouTube page, TigerBait.com. If you haven't followed it yet, it's awesome. We're putting all sorts of videos. We're uploading these shows up there, so if you miss them, you can go watch them there. But awesome to hear. Thank you, Esteban. I appreciate y'all's feedback as always. Last week, we had a few technical issues with my live guest. I don't know what it was about, but I'm going to try to work out some kinks. I want to do some live guests on this show, so we'll work that out. Appreciate your feedback, Esteban. This LSU team, without Joe Burrow's leadership and without Delpit, Fulton, and many others upperclassmen, needs to have a heavy training camp. Les Miles style. Lamar, of course, is referring to how Les Miles would work these teams to death no matter what. Like, they could be about to play Bama. I mean, week before the national championship, he had them full tackling, just balling out. So probably so. I tend to agree. Lamar, you know what? I would use this year as a development year at this point. Now, I'm not saying flush all your upperclassmen down the toilet. Terrace Marshall, you don't take out of the game. But you know what you need to do? Some tackle football, gosh darn it. These kids, they don't know. They look like high schoolers who've never made that college transition to tackling at this physical kind of game. I say this because there's a lot of physical specimens out there who aren't breaking down and doing fundamental football. You've got Ali Gay, who's an absurdly talented defensive end, a wonderful frame. Okay, he's overcommitting. He's got penetration, and he's overcommitting, not taking a good pursuit angle on Bo Nix. Boom, touchdown Bo Nix. On both of Bo Nix's touchdowns, the defender had an angle, and Bo Nix outran him to the corner. Both of them. I'm sorry, actually, one of them wasn't. One of them was a first down close to the end zone. He had one touchdown, okay, on the left hash, and then right hash was close. But regardless, both of them, you couldn't get outside contain. Ali Gay gets there, doesn't shop his feet, doesn't stay square, and Bo Nix just whoop right upfield. Like, Bo Nix is not a, Darren Sproles runner. I mean, he's an okay runner. But you shouldn't be missing him by a mile, especially with talented players like that. Fundamental football, tackle. Every day at practice, you should be tackling. This whole light practice issue and take it easy, don't tire your team out, this Pete Carroll mentality, you know what? I think this year, throw it away. It's not, this team needs to improve, period. They are historically bad defense. They make players who are not very good look like Heisman contenders. I believe it's the second week in a row Mississippi State didn't score a point on offense, y'all. The kid threw for 623 yards. An SEC record on this defense. Bo Nix, 300 yards. The dude hasn't had a good season all year. Okay? He almost lost to Arkansas. No. Bro, you should be tackling and doing conditioning every single week until you are a good team. Let's see. This team needs a moment like the 19 team had after beating Bama with all the fans cheering for them. They need an infusion of pride. Yeah, look, that's a good point too, Lamar. It sounds like Lamar might have played a little ball himself. sometimes a team gets very negative and very down on themselves, and it's impossible to rebound. I've been there. I played on teams where you lose a game you're supposed to win, and then you lose a game you're not supposed to win. And then next thing you know, you got this losing record. You question yourself, you're good. Motivation is a serious issue as you're dragging on these terrible seasons. And a lot of times these terrible seasons just nosedive because your head's not in the game. Whatever. So-and-so got hurt. No, don't rush him back. Who cares? I don't feel like really rushing right now. We're so bad. My ankle hurts. You need to be highly motivated to play elite football. And if you don't have it, you ain't doing it. So definitely that's an issue. How do you like the matchup? How do you think we match up against Bama's O-line? That's from Chris Domain. Chris, dude, always in the show. Really appreciate y'all joining us so often, man. I don't like our matchup against Bama's O-line. I've kind of reserved this show to kind of reflect on where this team is and spend a little time talking about these awesome freaking paintings, including Rooney the Tiger. I'm not talking too much Bama today, and I'm going to tell you why. Because we got a whole show next week to talk about it, and quite frankly, you're not going to like my assessment. Teaser alert. I mean, based on what I'm seeing and based off the motivation, Roll Tide, what? Bleep you? That's been played nonstop on loop in their locker room, man. LSU greatest of all time. You think Bama likes hearing greatest of all time from LSU? No way in hell. All right, Bama's going to be motivated. I'm going to just leave it at that. Verge Arsbury hit the nail on the head on OTB. We have to try harder to keep late round drafty and undrafted free agents on the team. That leadership now is what the team is missing right now. Esteban, I heard that interview and I agree wholeheartedly. That is a huge problem. Last year, I think Coach O's been trying to do a better job of keeping those dudes. Here's the issue. LSU has created a culture. NFL LSU, that rings to dudes. Dudes come to LSU thinking they're going to stay for 3 years. And if they don't, it's almost like they're a disappointment to themselves. But Coach O did a good job keeping guys like Fulton around. Last year, what happened was you have the greatest team of all time. Everybody's stock is at an all-time high. It cannot go any higher. You're the GOAT. Cash in. And that's what everybody did, including players that should be sticking around. Jacob Phillips. Jacob Phillips should be your stud middle linebacker right now. Just think about this real quick. Jacob Phillips in the middle. Damone Clark outside. Maybe even Damone Clark in the middle and Jacob Phillips outside. And then, you get Jabril Cox. That linebacking core by itself is just night and day better. Just leaps and bounds better. But ultimately, I think you could have just a legit studs out there on defense, and this scheme is still a problem. Now, Pelini, I do think it is X's and O's and Jimmy's and Joe's. I don't think this is if they had the players, if they had the coach. No, it's both, fam. I mean, Dave Aranda could coach this defense and it would still probably be having issues. It probably would have dropped off substantially from last year. That being said, it currently appears to be a historically bad defense that makes everybody look like a Heisman winner against them, including guys who are not very good. So, it's one of those things where it's just very frustrating to point out how far away they are. Although, Coach O, in Tell the Truth Monday, he talked about how this team isn't far away, but he also hinted at needing to get better with the coaching and players. Okay, I think I got a little broadcast interruption going on there. I apologize if there's a little cut up there, but I'm gonna play this video. Coach O, Tell the Truth Monday. Y'all take a listen.
Not an excuse, this is the SEC, and the other coaches had the same amount of time. So, but I know this in my mind. We have a plan here. I know the people surrounding me are very supportive. We just had one of the best teams in college football last year. We're not that far away. We've got to get better coaches, got to get better players, and this is LSU, and we're going to do that.
So, yes, Coach O says not that far away, need to improve some things. Maybe he's right. Okay? I do honestly think, me as a big X's and O's nerd, a lot of the X's and O's I've seen out of Bo Pelini this year, I don't like. I mean, one of the simplest examples was, and this is kind of stopped here of late, but doing a fake blitz with a guy like Jacoby Stevens, bumping him up to the line of scrimmage, only to put him in man coverage on a seam route. That's how Missouri got a touchdown where the guy's open by 20 yards, because you put a guy who's not very good in man coverage, okay? You got your offense, defense, and you're putting him real close, faking this, I'm going to go forward, right? And then this guy goes off like a jet, and then all of a sudden you're already behind him. You're not great at defense to begin with, and you're just chasing that guy. What do you think is going to happen? Also, quarterback, what's your read? Okay, all modern quarterbacks know this. This is an elementary read from the time they are 12 years old to the time they play college football, and then even in the NFL. Every quarterback is trained this. You pre-snap. You're under center. You're taking your shotgun. Identify the blitz. Blitz. I see the blitz. There's the safety blitzing. What do? You throw to where the safety was. Okay. So all you've done is draw the quarterback's attention to throwing to where that guy is not covering. Oh, and by the way, because it's a blitz and your deep safety, you also lost your safety blanket up top. So right over his head, touchdown. Nobody to stop it. That's F minus scheme. That play alone is a terminable offense, in my opinion, as a football nerd, X's and O's guy. So, yes, that's the issue. Scheme is an issue, but also is an issue is the attrition of this team. I believe they are in the 60s, something like 68 scholarship players, and that would be rough for any team to turn around. Long term for this program, it's all about recruiting and budget. Because, I hate to tell you, there's a 50-50 chance Pelini's going to be back next year. And 50-50 is something I'm just coming up with out of my head. The only way, I mean, they have an $80 million shortfall in revenue. $80 million. Yo, they only bring in a normal year like $125 million. That's a lot of money they're shortfall. So, I don't think no booster's pulling up $80 million out of their you-know-what to fix their problem. But what I will tell you is I could definitely see a booster or two putting an ultimatum on this team saying, you get rid of Bo Pelini or my $2.3 million plus is gone. Bo Pelini's got to coach a lot better to avoid a situation like that, I bet. Casey Campbell, we are not a 4-3 team. We are not a 4-3 team. Okay, defense, 4-3. Our personnel don't work in a 4-3. It's 2020, not 1998, and they're absolutely confused out there. First 5 games, they look like it's the first day of spring practice. I put that on coaching. I also think they feel defeated. They gave up. They need a spark, and they just don't have it. I don't know where they're going to get it. Yeah, so one thing to point out, great comment, Casey. You really should give Bo Pelini a little bit of an excuse because he's switching to a 4-3 from a 3-4, and they've been recruiting for a 3-4 for years. I don't know if this problem is the 4-3 scheme itself, but the fact that they don't have personnel for it. So you should give him a little excuse. That being said, there are inexcusable scheme issues like the one I just nerded out on. And I just, I ultimately, y'all, who cares? They lost their entire front 7 anyways. If you're going to switch to a 4-3, don't do it with an entire 3-4 staff. This was the perfect year to switch over to a 4-3. I don't think the 4-3 is the problem. It's getting the Jimmies and Joes for it and actually calling good plays for it. Let's see here. Because it's depressing, don't ruin the rest of the week for us. No. It's too long. I don't want to ruin the next 10 days for you. I'll ruin 3 days for you. Let's see here. Kyle Moran. Defense. Yeah, need to play some defense. But you know what? On that note, can we just talk about this Rooney the Tiger painting? Really cool, hipster-esque. My wife saw that and was like, ooh, kind of a gender-neutral touch. You want this in your living room. You want those two in your man cave. Go nuts. I put the link in the description. Go sign up. It's free, y'all. Yeah. We're going to give out a winner. All 3 of these, okay? And if you like 2 of them or you don't like one or whatever else, you maybe already have one since we've been pushing Burrow for so long on this show. Hopefully you have one of those. Cool, man. Christmas right around the corner. Put that sucker in a wrapper and some LSU fan's going to lose their mind like they just got a puppy. So, that's how I live my life, y'all. Okay, so, let's see. Garrett Galjor. Oh, man, Wait. Galjor. Yeah, nailed it. Boom. Tell me if I got it wrong, Garrett. Plus, if you try to encourage them to stay, you might come off as not caring about their career. Garrett, I'm not saying... I don't think there's much of an argument that you need to try to keep the first-round draft pick. I think you tell Terrace Marshall this year, look, man, we'd love to have you back and do something special next year. But if you really feel like it's the best time for you to go, you're going to be a first-round draft pick. We wish you the best, man. We do. But if Miles Brennan says, Coach, I'm ready to go pro. Bro, no, partner. You got hurt. You'll be like, 4th or 5th at best if you tear it up at the combine. I mean, not yet. Stay around. Okay, so that's the kind of player you need to keep. Dudes who have been 5th, 4th, 3rd. If you're not a second-round draft pick, I don't think you have any business leaving school early, in my opinion, because you're just not putting yourself... You could earn that chance at a first-round pick and have a team build around you, not have you be a piece built around someone else. That's worth every bit of staying. So that's the kind of guys you need to go for. I don't think it's not caring if you tell them, dude, you're only a 3rd-round pick. Let's hold off and make you a first. Let's see here. You can blame the current situation on the coaches, but we also aren't seeing much leadership out of our returning national champion on the field. These kids are at LSU for a reason, so the talent is definitely there. Current scheme isn't utilizing it. All right, Trenton Eubanks. Great comment, man. Here's where I'm going to a little bit disagree. We aren't seeing much from the returning national champions. Okay. You're singling out a handful of guys if we're talking about starters and coaches, So Coach O, sure, you might be able to, I think Coach O blames himself a little. In fact, he really kind of does that when I asked him the question I played a little bit ago. But there's not a ton of leaders left from last year's team. 18 of 22 starters gone. What you want? Do you want that leadership from your kicker and punter? Look, I think the punter is providing as much freaking leadership as you can possibly provide as a punter. I think Zach Von Rosenberg is having a all-American type season. Okay? So we're not talking about the punter kicker, right? Okay, Cade York's been fantastic. Okay, Derek Stingley Jr. Dude's been good. Dude has been a baller, and I don't think it's his vocal abilities that I think he from all reports he's just fine as a leader. I think this defense does lack motivation, but y'all, I'm telling you, motivation ain't everything. It's a lot of things, but people keep on want to point out, oh, well, if we just motivated the team, if they just played hard, that's rah-rah, that sounds good. But ultimately, you have a coach with a strong reputation of motivating players and teams, and he ain't getting it done. It ain't motivation, y'all. You don't have the Jimmies and Joes, and you probably don't have the X's and O's on the defensive side of the ball. Do you think players want to play for Pelini? Garrett, that is a fantastic question. I don't have that answer for you. Let's see here. Did you hear what the Mississippi State player said on camera after that game? He said LSU players were complaining about being tired. Also, it sometimes feels as if they don't care. Also, they don't play till the whistle sounds. Yeah, Josh, I mean, like I said, they do have times where they're playing suspect defense. I mean, tired comes from lack of depth. They really don't have much depth on this team, but, like I said, I mean, look, I get that the effort looks suspect at times, y'all. It's not just effort. Okay, you're not going to turn a light switch on and say, boom, oh my gosh, they're excited to play now. We're doing awesome. They're the best defense in the country. You might you might hold Auburn to a field goal on one of those 5 drives because you played harder. It's not, the Jimmies and Joes are an issue. The X's and O's are an issue. I mean, we have to accept that when a defense is playing this bad at a certain point, it is not one of these, it's not one of these issues that's like, well, they're good, but it's not a good defense, y'all. It's not a good defense. I mean, and it pains me to say it because I don't like being critical of amateur players, but and for that matter, even coaches. But I mean, you can't look at what you're seeing and say this is a good defense. It's just no. It's everything, dude. It's motivation. Look, last year I spent a lot of time talking about. Well, the team's good, but is it all Joe Burrow? Is it all Joe Brady? Is it Jamar Chase? Is it the receivers are that good? Is the offensive line that good? Like what's really... And the answer is anytime you have something very, very, very good, best of all time, it's everything. Okay, man? There's no one player on that team who's carried all that weight. Nah, dude, you know how many good, fantastic, great players there have been on a college football team who weren't a part of the greatest offense of all time? Dude, when you have the greatest offense of time, you have the greatest collection of talent. They're all freaking fantastic. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was fantastic. The offensive line was fantastic. Terrace Marshall, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. All these dudes were fantastic. The same applies to this defense we're talking about. They're historically bad. In their 3 losses, they are yielding 46.3 points per game. 46 points per game. To Bo Nix. KJ Costello. I can't even remember the Missouri quarterback's name. He made his first start. 46 points. By the way, 430 yards, 623 yards, 300 yards. Yo, I'm no mathematician, but that sounds a lot like 1,200 yards in 3 games. More? 1,300 yards at least. Maybe 1,400. I haven't done the math, but that's disgusting. When you're that bad, there's a lot of things that are bad. There's no one thing. It's everything. Maybe not everything. What's weird to me about this defense, y'all, is you got these historically bad numbers, particularly through passing, and you've got the best cornerback in college football. And Elias Ricks has been a baller too. Your corners are locked down, and they're playing well. It's not like they're good players. They're just having a down. No, dude, they're ballers. And this defense is still that bad. I honestly think Raymond is gone after this season. Team's been coming for him every offseason, and right now he has to be a slap in the face. He's watching our defense struggle under Bo. No adjustments being made. Right now, LSU has nothing to lose. Give Raymond a shot at DC. See how it goes. Esteban, good perspective. So here's my take on that, which you may very well be right. Maybe that is the solution. My personal opinion is, if you give him a shot at DC, you're ruining a really good thing. He might be okay at DC, and he'll say, well, look, my defense improved a little bit. And there's more than likely he's probably not the great, elite, next amazing defensive coordinator mind. And if he was, someone probably would have stuck him there, or he would be pushing for it. Somehow, someway, he would have finagled him way into a DC role. Okay? If he really wanted to do it and thought he was great at it, he probably would have left LSU for a DC role elsewhere by now. It's not like he wouldn't have had the opportunity by now. So if you give him shots and he's just average, you might be in a situation where you're kind of stuck with him. Or maybe Coach O just gets comfortable with him and leaves him there. I think if that was viable, there's a chance it could have been done already. That's another thing to consider, just to save grace for the season. You would have done something where you don't fire Coach Bo Pelini, but you promote Corey Raymond and you reassign Bo. That being said, Corey Raymond's had chances to leave as defensive coordinator somewhere else, and he's still here. He played football here. I think he stays here for a while. I think he's pretty good, set, and happy. Guys, going to hop off. If you have any comments, go ahead and get them in. Last call. I'll take them. But before I do that, let's talk about this awesome perfection painting. If you haven't entered the contest to win all 3 of these amazing photos, what are you doing? It's free. The link's in the bio. Go enroll. It's completely free. Yo, this is like $1,200 worth of artwork behind me. That's awesome. Go enter to win, man. It is good stuff. You got Rooney the Tiger, hipster guy, Tiger Stadium in the shades, in case you didn't notice. You got Perfection, which is just littered with details celebrating the greatest season in college football history. And the classic Burrow, commemorating the coolest moment in human history when Joe Burrow lit up a cigar in the Superdome after beating Bama. After beating Clemson, national champion, Heisman winner, Maxwell winner, O'Brien winner, Manning Award winner. Dude, they won everything. And it just encapsulates that. Not to mention the note on the ground. You can't do it. You won't make it. Let's see here. Esteban. He's having a grown man, literally grown man season. It's collusion if he doesn't win the Ray Guy. We're talking about Zach Von Rosenberg. Hey, by the way, shout out to the family, Ray Guy, Preston Guy, Ray Guy, keeping it real. He's a distant cousin of mine, dude. It'd be very cool. Zach Von Rosenberg is my age, so kind of, little soul connection with us going there. If he wins the Ray Guy Award, I think I should definitely get a picture with him with it. But anyways, he deserves it. He's having a fantastic year. It's that old man strength coming in. Trenton Eubanks. The mind-blowing part is the defense will have a great shutdown series, get off the field quickly, or get a turnover, and then go back and get torched on 3 consecutive drives. Super inconsistent. This defense is consistently inconsistent. And the big plays, every game. Any team is always one play away from scoring. I've said a number of times this defense would be better served to just call cover 4, cover 3, switch it up every play. At least you get nickeled and dimed. You wouldn't be giving away 75 giant chunks of yards. 5, 6. Okay, quarterback makes a bad read. Boom. You make a stop. 3rd down, get off the field. And maybe they get touchdowns, field goals. And they score 35 points a game. Cool, great. This defense is doing a lot worse. So, guys, I want to thank y'all for watching. This has been a fun show. Nice distraction from the presidential election. I really hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all have a fantastic night. and go Tigers.